All right, and we're live. Hey, everybody, welcome to the Multiverse Show, episode 140, the greatest show on Mondays. As we have two of our guys are out for the evening to watch Monday Night Football and hopefully get a glimpse of that new Star Wars trailer that's going to be dropping out. So we got to.
Imagine if it
We,
drops like while we're on air. We will stop and watch it live.
it's supposed to be at halftime during the game, and that hasn't even started yet. Like it's not going
Oh
to
well,
start
there
for
you
another
go.
couple minutes. So halftime isn't going to start until roughly I want to say an hour and a half from now, which we might be done by then. So I mean,
hmm
we'll find out. We'll find out how that rolls out. So, all right. So let's get rocking and rolling. Let's do our intros for the evening. First, we have our Caesar of Cinema, who will be doing some heavy lifting today because there's a lot of stuff he's got to make up for. Mr. James Wilson.
Yes, I'm not even going to apologize for not being here last week. People are awful in customer service.
Yep.
Hello everyone. It is nice to be back. I'm nice and refreshed. I've had a lovely little break. But yeah, and I'm very excited for the stuff we have today.
All right, and we have Mr. Samuel Tolbert, the White Wolf himself. How you doing, sir?
I am doing really, really well. I'm tired, but I'm doing really, really well. Good to be here. We got a lot to talk about. Some Disney Plus shenanigans, some NPD news, a big game coming up that Ivan and I are super excited for, but we got some stuff to go into. So let's get it going.
All right, and you know how it is Anchorman B2. Let's get rolling on some of our topics for the evening. But first, our immortal question we ask every single night. What have you guys been playing? Sam?
So I'll be honest.
First, our
Between
immortal
work
question.
and the Festival of Sukkot, I haven't really had a lot of the time to play much of anything. I've mostly just been playing Mage Quit, that little party game, with my family. Every now and again, we would play a few rounds of that. And then in between work, I've been playing some Total War, Warhammer 2. Because I love it. I absolutely love it. I have like 400 hours in that game. It's ridiculous. And Creative Assembly has crafted something fantastic with it. I can play it all day if I let myself. But that's pretty much it. I haven't had a lot of time to play. And obviously, in terms of non-video game stuff, we had played some D&D, went through a spooky haunted house, and that was really good. And we all made it out alive, which I'm really happy about.
Barely. Um,
But we did, and that's what matters.
all right. James, you a chance to play anything, or mostly been work?
Mostly been working. I've been playing a lot more of Apex Legends with the new Shadowfall event, which is the Halloween special event. Have you guys had a chance to play it?
No, I haven't, unfortunately, which is a shame because like I want to, and the skins and stuff look cool. Like it looks like they did a really cool seasonal event.
Yeah, so it's a spooky version of the original. I want to say King's Landing. That's not what it is.
King's Canyon. You were pretty
King's
close.
Canyon. That's it. It's very close. It's a spooky night version of King's Canyon. And if you survive until the last 10, you have to make it to you have to get to the chopper, and then you get taken out of the map. If you die before then, you become a shadow, and you run around the whole map, and you're trying to kill everybody else. It's a really really fun, really quick little game. That is just really really addictive. And as Sam said, some of the skins are awesome and lovely and Halloween themed. We're getting into my favorite time of the year. We're in my element right now. The cinema are letting me play horror movie soundtracks all the day while I'm there. We're getting ready to hide in the fire exits and come out during films as different horror characters. So
Ooh.
yeah, it's a good time. And I don't have it with me right now, but waiting for me at a shop is WWE 2K20. So I'm going to be playing that this week, and next week I'll give a little review for that. So excited for that.
Nice. All right. Um, I have a confession to make. So, beyond my regular Fallout 76 playing, which I normally do, I've been getting a little bit back into Metro Exodus again. I still have to finish it.
Nice.
I've been really enjoying it though. I noticed too, especially my gamma was like because of HDR, my gamma was way low, and so I'm like terrified to go anywhere because I can't see anything. It's so dark, I can't see anything. And so I'm just like, I can't. It was almost okay. So I'm at the part, no spoiler version of this, where it's still very early on. It's when you get to the first major open world portion of it. I got past when you have to go into that base to get the train car. And I can't see anything. It's so dark. I can't see, like, is this a place I could step? Is this not a place I could step? It's so dark I couldn't actually do anything. And I was like, man, this is rough. Um, but I turned up the game. I was like, wait, I can play now. I'm good. I could see. It's one of those little things where it had been hurting me because it looks so photogenic when it's that dark, but it was really difficult to play. Other than that, though, I started playing Fortnite. So I hadn't played Fortnite since it came out, or Battle Royale came out. I played like 2 matches and I was done. I'm like, look, I don't need to know everything about this. I'm good. I wanted to try it, see what it was, then left. Since they did the update, like we talked about last week, I wanted to give it a shot. So I started playing it. And I gotta say, man, I totally understand why this is a popular game. I understand, because it's a hugely streamable game. Like compared to PUBG, there is like zero stress at all.
I think you'll find it's pronounced poobg.
Pubes. But anyway, it's not stressful at all to play Fortnite. You can just turn off your brain, you play. I can have cold conversations, be totally fine. If you're a streamer, this is great. I totally understand why people want to stream this. Besides the fact it's free, and the crossplay. Oh my god, people are so easy to kill in this game. Like it was insane. It was so easy to beat these people. Like you run across people playing on mobile, you come across people playing on like Switch or whatever, and you could tell. Like there was one dude who had a gun out, and I'm just like, I walk up to him and I have my little my pickaxe, and I walk up to him and he sees me and he's trying to shoot, and I'm just walking towards him and he keeps missing shots, and I just hit him to death and he dies. I took no damage. I'm like, look, this is way too easy. I totally understand everyone playing. Like I think I started playing on Saturday. I got like 6 battle royales so far, or whatever, victory royale, and like in PUBG I've only gotten like 3, and I've been playing for like a year and a half. So, Fortnite is extremely easy, and I understand why people like playing it. Anyway, other than that, haven't been busy with too much. But I want to do something we didn't do last week. Sam, who's our sponsor for this week?
So our sponsor for this week, and we need to apologize because we actually messed up and they were our sponsor for last week too. So we're letting them sponsor this week. But our sponsor is none other than the Horde. Yes, exactly, the Horde. For the Horde. Initially led by Gul'dan when they crossed over into the world and challenged the Alliance. The Horde is currently led by Sylvanas Windrunner after her resurrection. Many in the Horde have often fought for freedom and are beginning to question the values of the Horde after seeing Sylvanas burn down the Night Elves' ancestral tree for no apparent reason. However, well, that's another discussion altogether. The point is, if you stand for freedom, you stand with the Horde. They stand away from social structures, which is why the Horde and Sylvanas are happy to say, "Free Hong Kong."
Yep. Yeah, that's fun. All right. And so on our topics for this evening, with James. So instead of movie corner, we got a lot of news about the upcoming Batman movie. What's some of the castings? What's some of the news?
I completely forgot that I actually did see a film that's very interesting.
Ooh.
Oh, okay.
I saw Knives Out.
How is it, dude? How is it?
This is at the London Film Festival. I saw this about a week and a half ago. Knives Out is fantastic. It's really, really brilliant. So much fun. And I can't. There's nothing bad I can say about it.
And this is the Rian Johnson movie.
This is the Rian Johnson written and directed, the Rian Johnson joint, starring the biggest cast of the year that isn't a superhero movie or a Star Wars movie. So we've got. I'm going to get the list up because I will forget somebody. In the meanwhile, I'll talk about how much do you guys know about the film? Other than it's a whodunit.
It's basically Clue, but not Clue. It has
Well,
Chris Evans in it, and what's
yeah,
her name?
it's more like instead of Clue, because Clue's like really silly. It's really good. It's more like a funny Agatha Christie movie, a funny Poirot, if you will, or Miss Marple, or someone like that.
Mhm.
Um, so the cast of this stacked film: Daniel Craig, Chris Evans, Jamie Lee Curtis, Michael Shannon, Don Johnson, Tony Collette, Lakeith Stanfield, Christopher Plummer, um, and Anna Diamas, who people will know from Blade Runner. Uh, yeah, there's a crime novelist dies, and all of his family basically want his money. They all have some form or motive to maybe kill him, and Detective Benoit Blanc is called in to investigate the case. And I just can't recommend it enough. I'm not going to say anything because this film is so tied up to its plot, but it's just, I don't want to say the words best film of the year, but it's the most fun I've had watching a film this year that isn't an obscure horror film.
Wow. Well, let me ask this then. And I understand it's a mystery, right? So you want to keep like as much of it shrouded as possible. Would you say that it's just enjoyable in terms of the cast and the comedy, or would you say the plot is actually interesting and takes interesting turns as well?
Both.
Good. Good to hear. I don't want to know
Both.
anything more about it. So
Both are
fantastic.
great. The plot, like, I would say if you have seen a trailer for it, don't rewatch the trailers. There's more information in the trailers than I would have liked, but not enough that it ruined any point of the film. I just knew that there were certain things that I hadn't seen yet.
Okay.
Same with the Orchard Styles movie. I haven't seen the bit where they go into the cave. You know,
Gotcha. And especially like mystery movies more than other movies, the less you know, the better. So
absolutely. And for
okay.
this, I think go in expecting to have a great time. I don't think this is going to be a big winner during the award season, but I think this is going to be a big favorite amongst critics and audiences because I think this comes out next month. Yeah, almost a month exactly from now.
Yeah.
So yeah, big recommend. 2 big thumbs up from me. So
Nice.
let's get into Batman.
All right.
So this is the Matt Reeves directed Robert Pattinson starring Batman movie. We had already had the announcement of Jeffrey Wright as Commissioner Gordon. You will know him as from Westworld and other things. We thought we had Jonah Hill in the movie. Apparently, that was a complete rumor. There have been rumblings that he wanted more money. Someone said 10 million was the number that he was quoted. This is not in any reputable news source.
Yeah,
That is just a number that's
I was going
floated
to say,
around.
this is the guy who took the absolute minimum to be in Wolf of Wall Street.
Yeah, but
I don't
6
think
years
so.
has passed, and two Oscar nominations. You can dictate prices of
Yeah.
that caliber. But that then again, that's not confirmed. He's out of the picture. Moving on. The 2 confirmed castings we got within the space of 3 days was, let's start with number 1, Zoe Kravitz as Selena Kyle / Catwoman. What do we think?
I think that it's not who I would have picked if you had asked me, like, hey, who do you have in mind for Selena or Catwoman? But I'll say that in hindsight, I like it. Like, okay, sure, I'll wait to see her in costume. I'll wait to see a glimpse of the trailer or something like that. She could do it. I'm interested.
Yeah, that's sort of my reaction.
I mean, I have no strong feelings about it, honestly. Just like, all right, cool.
I mean, she's yet to be really good in something.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, she definitely feels like one who hasn't gotten to stretch her wings out. So
She hasn't had her defining role as of yet, and
Oh.
every other person in this film has so far.
For people who are trying to figure out who we're talking about, she's
Lenny
in Mad Max
Kravitz's
Fury.
daughter.
Yeah, well, more specifically, she's in Mad Max Fury Road. She's Angel from X-Men First Class.
that's what I recognize her from.
Oh, sorry. I'm sorry. She's also in a film with me.
Oh yeah, Fantastic Beasts.
Yeah, you were a co-star.
I've been on set with her and I completely forgot.
Yeah, not good.
Not good, man. Not good.
Not a good.
But that just proves my point.
Yeah, but no, and like, I mean, in that, and I don't want to dredge up that conversation, but like, she wasn't bad bad in that per se.
Oh,
She
everybody,
hasn't been like
everybody
she hasn't
was
been
bad in
notable
that.
yet. That's the thing. She hasn't had her
Yeah.
breakout moment.
So maybe this could be it. We'll see.
Yeah.
Let's hope. All right,
But
next.
the big one that I think is great. This is a great piece of casting. Paul Dano as the Riddler.
Yes.
Here's
yes.
something interesting. He's credited as Edward Nashton, not Nigma.
Yeah.
Wouldn't read too much into that.
Yeah. All right.
I wouldn't read too much into that. Who knows what they're doing with false names or somewhat maybe even changing the name before he takes on Nigma as a moniker or whatever. Like, you can do a lot of things with that.
For people who are listening who don't recognize the name Paul Dano at first sight, I urge you to watch at least all of his films because he's one of the best actors working in Hollywood. And I mean that. I think he's absolutely outstanding. He burst onto the scene in Little Miss Sunshine in 2006, and then a year later he was in There Will Be Blood, trading barbs with Daniel Day-Lewis in one of the best films of the 21st century. Unbelievably, he didn't get any awards nominations for that film. Go watch There Will Be Blood, and if you want to see him be a sort of unhinged, crazy person, to see what he could be for the Riddler, that's what you want to see. Since then, he's just been in steadily good films. He was in Swiss Army Man a couple of years ago, which was the weirdest mainstream film of the past few years.
Daniel Radcliffe as a dead body.
Daniel Radcliffe as a dead farty body. It was such a weird film. It was so good though. But I loved him as Brian Wilson from the Beach Boys in Love and Mercy from 2014. He was outstanding in that. So I'm big Paul Dano fan, and so I can't wait to see how him be brilliant in this. I'm convinced he's going to be great.
I hope so.
And I know you shouldn't say these kind of things, but I think for the Riddler, I just see it.
He has, and I mean this in the best way possible, he has that obnoxious, smug face for the role.
Oh yeah, he's got crazy face.
I saw the face, and I saw like the announcement. I was like, oh yeah, how could it be anyone else? That's perfect.
With the fact that they've announced two like really big time people in Catwoman and the Riddler being in this film, does it lend a bit more credence to the rumors that this is going to be a long Halloween kind of joke?
I hope. Man, the Long Halloween is so good, and I know because someone will inevitably say this. Like, The Dark Knight was inspired by that. Like, a lot of elements from Long Halloween did make their way into the plot structure and whatnot. But a direct adaptation of that, made for the big screen, like, yes, I'm there.
Well, we know that this is... Matt Reeves has said that this is going to be a sort of noir detective Alfred Hitchcock kind of film.
Yes, he has said that he wants to get to... how did he put it exactly? I can't remember the exact quote, but you're absolutely right. He said he wants to emphasize Batman as the genius detective over everything else. He really wants to get...
did he say emphasize the heart and mind of the...
That was loud.
Emphasize the heart and mind of the character, I think that's what he said.
Yes, that was it.
Yep.
Yeah. That we will be drip feeding Batman news as soon as we get it, because this is just... It's slowly becoming the most interesting movie, as Batman always is. Batman's always interesting until it either is amazing or terrible. It's one of the two.
All right. So yeah, well, we're gonna put Batman on hold. See if we get some more news about it. I'm trying for the superhero stuff. I'm trying not to burn myself out on stuff. I'm really trying not to. I'm trying not to pay attention too much to like leaks and things coming out, because I still want to be surprised. But castings and stuff, I'm down with that. I like seeing who they're gonna stack the board with. But, all right, so
there's another interesting, very quick thing. Sure. There's a guy that they announced amongst all of this. They announced who's going to be co-writing the film with thing, and it's a guy called Matson Tomlin, who's a Romanian-born writer who has written one feature film that is currently in post-production. So for someone this green to be given a Batman film, I don't know if to be excited or scared, but I'm interested.
I mean, the fact that they're literally handing their flagship franchise to somebody, I mean, they have some sort of faith.
Co-writing with Reeves.
Yeah, but they've got to be seeing something in that other movie. They got to be seeing something to say, hey, we got to get you on board.
Yeah, he doesn't even have a Wikipedia page.
Yeah. All right. So next little bit, we're talking about Outer Worlds for a bit. So Outer Worlds, for those of you guys who have been living under a rock, and literally this has been like the most talked about game topic like the last 3 weeks. Outer Worlds is a new game coming out by Private Division and Obsidian. They have reunited. Well, I don't want to say reunited, united for the first time. Obsidian, the creators of Fallout New Vegas, and the original creators of Fallout 1 and 2, to make a new game. It is very much a Fallout-inspired type of game. It called Outer Worlds. So, there's a lot of cool things about this game. This is a new RPG. I know I have been, ever since I saw it, I was sold. I'm already ready. I don't need to see anything. There's little things that sold me on the game immediately, besides just the fact that it's Fallout related. But there were like 2 things that I saw that were like, okay, I'm getting this game. And besides the fact one was the fact it's on Game Pass day 1. Like, I don't even have to I don't have to pay anything. It's already on there, so I'm happy about that. Next little bit that I thought was really interesting was that, to me, they implemented something called the flaw system, and that is some really cool D&D level stuff that's getting into this, and I've been really excited to see what happens. For those of you that don't know what we're talking about, the flaw system is a system where if your character is exposed to failure and certain things over and over again, and either loses to it or just doesn't have a good experience with it, you can have the ability to take a flaw. A flaw would basically either you can either choose to take it or not take it. If you take it, they give you an ability point to level up with. But you trade off and being not as good at something else. So I think an example being, let's say, you're really bad at stealth. You try to go in front. You try to sneak into a couple places, but you fail a lot. You keep getting caught, and you have the ability to take a flaw called like paranoia, where anytime there's a large group of people or something like that, you are worse at stealth essentially. But you get to pick a perk in something else. I thought that is a really cool idea. That's really awesome to implement in this kind of game. I can't wait to see how many crazy builds there are going to be. Like, imagine if you have a character who's literally built around having a flaw for everything, and you stack up on one thing you do extremely well. I would love to see that kind of thing. I would love to see that kind of playthrough, and this looks like that kind of game for me. What about the rest of you guys? What are you thinking about Outer Worlds?
Yeah, I mean, I can't really say much that you haven't already, Ivan, but I absolutely love what I've seen. The idea, I've said this before, and I'll say it again, the idea of a compact RPG, not something that, oh my god, this is going to take me 80, 90, 100 hours to finish. Like, no, this is like 30 hours, maybe 35 or 40 if you do absolutely everything. That's really cool. I like that. I want to do different builds. The idea of a shorter RPG means it's more appealing for me to just go back to the beginning and try different routes again, and try making different choices. I'm curious about the flaw system. It's interesting to me. I'm curious because it's like, it seems like that would be short-term gain, long-term loss in terms of continually accruing flaws and taking more and more damage in exchange for getting a handful of perks early. But maybe I could be wrong about that. So we'll see. I'm curious as to how that's going to work out. I know for a fact my Xbox editor, Jez Corden, has the game. He can't say anything about it publicly right now, but reviews will be coming out very soon. In fact, I actually think reviews are out tomorrow, if I remember correctly. Yeah, if I remember correctly, reviews are either out tomorrow or they're out the 23rd. I don't know. It's one of the 2 days, but reviews will be out soon. I'm expecting good things. And again, the fact that this is on Game Pass for both Xbox and PC, if you have Game Pass, just get it that way. Just grab it.
Yeah. Can't hurt. Definitely can't hurt. James, are you sold on this, or are you still waiting?
I don't care. I'm good. I saw the E3 trailer and I was just like, I'm good.
Okay.
I don't like Fallout. Okay. So like, what am I gonna get from this? I don't know. I'll wait and see what the buzz is.
I'm personally hurt, sir. I'm personally hurt.
All right. Well, I don't throw a fit when you don't like Radiohead, so you know.
I have zero feelings about Radiohead.
There we go. I have zero feelings about the Outer Worlds.
Perfectly balanced.
Fine. See how it is. Anyway, rolling on a little.
All right. Well, you come up with movie news every week.
You know what? Fine. Fine. So let's have a little game, shall we?
Okay.
So last week James came up with this really cool idea for a game based on. Oh, so first of all, we had a huge announcement from Disney about what's coming to Disney Plus. There is a ton of stuff coming out. Like they had a giant thread. There was maybe like 500 posts or something. It was ridiculous.
The thread was it was getting to the point where it was funny to begin with, and then it stopped being funny, and then it became funny again. And I was sort of wondering that if they would just keep going forever, and they would like go into the future. And I almost wish they did. Like in 2027, we're going to be giving you Jaws 9, you know.
Yeah. But yeah, it was pretty crazy. They went over the top. And so it also kind of exposed like so many movies that they've put out over the years. And it's just like, did they make that? So James put together a little game for us. So you guys are watching. You get to see us do this in real time. If not, you can watch us a little bit later as we take this opportunity to do. James, explain the game rules for us.
Okay, so there was a lot of films that are coming to Disney Plus that have been made by the Disney Corporation over the last. It's actually about 80 years. So in there's going to be some absolute classics. You know, you've got your Wizards of Oz. I don't think that's even there, but you've got great
Wizard of Oz
films.
isn't there. That's Metro.
Nope, it's not. I made that up. Snow White is, as is The Sound of Music, as is Mary Poppins, Bedknobs and Broomsticks, The Sandlot. You know, these great films that define loads of different generations. You've also got loads of other films that also happened.
Yeah.
So, to celebrate those other films, I came up with this little game where we will give each other the title of one of these films, the director of said film, and two people who starred in the film, and we have to guess the plot of the film.
This is going to be fun. Because, I mean, if for anyone... You know what? I'm just going to put a link to the thread in the chat, because you need to understand, if you haven't seen it, this was the thread to end all threads. Like, it's actually actively ridiculous. Just what kind of... Like, there is some garbage back in the day on here. It's really bad. But that makes things interesting. You know? So, we'll see.
All right. James, what's our first one?
Okay, so... should we also do the year? No, let's not do the year.
Don't do the year. Don't do the year.
The year will give it away. Too much.
Okay, so... I'm going to start off with something. It's called Newsies.
Uh-huh.
Are we here so far?
I'm with you.
Mm-hmm.
The director is Kenny Ortega. I'm going to give you 3 starring names, okay? Bill Pullman, Robert Duvall, and Christian Bale.
Plot.
First, you know what? Let's add one. Let's go genre.
Yeah, we should do genre as well. I agree.
All right, is it a musical?
But you come up with the genre.
Oh, okay.
Oh, we go. All right, so
I'm not telling you the genre. It's more fun this way.
It's a romance film.
All right. I'm gonna say it's a musical, and the plot is Oliver Twist with Newsies instead of pickpockets. It's a young boy wanting to prove his worth in the world.
Ivan, have you seen this movie?
No, I haven't.
Okay.
I just know
It
Christian
sounds
Bale's
like
in
you
it.
have.
All right, so I'll give my take then. I'm going to go with it's a romance movie, and Christian Bale's character falls. He's like the son of a poor cobbler, or whatever, craftsman, and he falls in love with someone far above his station.
Sort of both of these things are true. It is a musical. It's from 1991. It's more famous as a stage musical in the last 5 or 6 years. But yes, Christian Bale does sing. There are videos everywhere of him singing a song called Santa Fe. He sings it okay. There are many people sing it better, but Christian Bale's not a trained singer. What do you want? It's set in the 1800s, 1899 to be specific, and it's about the William Randolph Hearst newspaper publishing empire of New York, and the newsies that like striked to stop selling the papers for him.
Ooh. Yeah,
but it is a surprisingly fun little musical, and the director I mentioned, Kenny Ortega, he went on to he became Michael Jackson's choreographer after this film because Michael Jackson saw it and loved it, and he hired Kenny as his choreographer for his tours for all of his dancers. He then got the job on High School Musical as the director and choreographer. So there you go. That's Newsies.
Huh. Nice. Nice.
Interesting.
So do you have stuff for us, or do you want me to keep going?
I have one.
Great.
What's that? I'm trying to get the thing real quick. There we go. So I'm trying to get the official synopsis and such. Okay. So this one is I give you the title. I give you what else is there? I know I give you the title. I give you the top 2 actors in it, or you said 3?
Right. Top 2 or 3. Your pick.
All right.
I gave 3 because there were 3 well-known actors in it.
All right. So this one is My Favorite Martian.
Okay.
It has Christopher Lloyd and Jeff Daniels and what's her name? Elizabeth Hurley. What else do I have to give you?
I think we can go from there.
All right.
Like it does, if it has a famous director, maybe you should say it. But
Yeah. If it's a well-known director, yeah.
I don't think so.
Okay.
That
I
answers
don't
that
remember
question.
them from anything. So.
All right. Fair enough.
Okay. I have seen this movie.
I remember seeing it
of course.
a long time ago. So.
I have not, so I'll go then. Okay. This is a terrible movie that is a kid's growing up, meaning of life, coming of age story about a kid who befriends a Martian that fell to Earth and is trying to get back to Earth. And he's dealing with school bullies and the like. And at the end of the film has the Martian going back to Mars.
So it's E.T.
Yes. That is exactly what I'm saying.
As far as I remember, it's a comedy. Christopher Lloyd is the Martian. He has also got a suit that has its own conscience. And I don't really remember anything else other than wacky antics.
I'm counting that as a win. That sounds about right.
Before this, I didn't remember what the plot was.
Yeah, I mean, I know I've seen the movie, but I can't remember anything that happens.
I remember like one scene, so that should give you a clue. And there's like, okay, so here's the plot synopsis. So first of all, it's based on like a CBS show that used to be on like in the 60s. So I should preface that first. But the official synopsis reads: ambitious television reporter Tim O'Hara, played by Jeff Daniels, stumbles upon a Martian, Christopher Lloyd, whose spaceship has accidentally crashed on Earth. Thinking this is his ticket to a Pulitzer Prize, Tim makes plans to expose the Martian, who, posing as Tim's Uncle Martin, takes human form and has plans of his own. In fact, in Tim's effort to divulge the truth, are systematically thwarted by the resourceful alien who ultimately recruits Tim to help him repair his ship to return to Mars.
I was closer than I was pretty close, actually, I think.
Yeah, but no children.
It sounds like a 90-minute Disney movie.
Yeah, I got the whole children. Well, you know.
Yeah, you think My Favorite Martian sounds like a children's movie.
It really sounds like a children's movie.
Remind me, I seem to recall this thing of like the female lead in that movie. she like see okay so in there he has like pills or something that turns him into different creatures.
Oh, I have no idea.
I see, and like she like turns into like a giant plant monster and eats somebody. Like, like I seem to remember that. I don't know if that's real or not. All right, so that's mine.
Nice. Okay. All right. So I'm gonna go. I have. Let's see. Oh yeah, this should be good. This should be good. Okay. So the name of this movie, guys, is Willow. Have either of you seen this?
I love Willow.
I have not seen.
Dang it! Of course, James has seen it. Okay.
How are you not? Have you not seen Willow's great?
Ivan.
I know what it is. I just haven't seen it. Okay.
It's directed by Ron Howard.
I know it's the guy who plays Leprechaun and Leprechaun. I know. I can't.
Yeah. Okay. So
escapes me at the moment, but
and Wicket in Star Wars.
All right. I'll go here. The movie's name is Willow. It stars Val Kilmer and Warwick Davis, and it was directed by Ron Howard. So, Ivan, what do you think the plot is?
I'll abstain.
It's about a young hobbit who goes off on an adventure.
You gotta be more specific than that.
It's a young hobbit who goes off on an adventure filled with Jim Henson Muppet creatures and I honestly got nothing after that.
I don't think the Hensons have anything. I don't think Henson has anything to do with this movie.
Well, I assume there's like Muppets or something. I don't know.
I think you're thinking of Labyrinth.
No, I'm not thinking of Labyrinth with David Bowie. I know that movie. But I would say I'm guessing here.
Close. You know what? Okay, so you know what? I'll just go ahead and tell you. Willow, you actually got the Hobbit part right. It was actually a very progressive thing for its day. Warwick Davis actually played the lead character, Willow, who is a young little dwarf. And he's a kind farmer, and he's like a trickster. He wants to be a sorcerer, and it's like a kind of stereotypical fantasy movie. Val Kilmer plays this like awesome human warrior, and they meet up with the stereotypical action girl who doesn't like men and that sort of thing. They fight an evil sorceress. There's monsters. There's trolls. It's that kind of deal.
Ooh, I might watch this then.
It's pretty good.
It's really
got
good.
Val Kilmer in it. I'll watch it.
And they're also making they're also making a TV series of it for Disney Plus.
I did not know that part. I somehow missed that.
No, this is true. Ron Howard's production company is making it.
Nice.
Okay, here we go. Y'all ready for this?
Yep. Hiss.
The Barefoot Executive.
Well,
there is nobody famous in this movie except Kurt Russell.
Oh damn. Okay, I'm gonna take a limb out here. It's about an executive type being played by Kurt Russell's probably not even the lead in this. Kurt Russell's like probably like his like teenage son. He gets kidnapped and indoctrinated by hippies, and Kurt Russell's like at first he's like he thinks his dad is lame. And so he's like, "Oh yeah, Dad, you're lame. You suck." But when he gets abducted by hippies, he slowly lowers down his guard and becomes a more open person. And he wins the respect of his son.
Okay, you're way off. Sam, what you got?
That's better than anything I could have come up with here. I have never heard of this. I'll go with Kurt Russell plays a rough and tough guy who is, due to a freak coincidence, mistaken for the new executive of a grand lawyer's office that's overseeing a big deal with some major contracts in New York, and he's helping to make the deal come through his rough and tumble ways.
Okay.
Oh my god, I just looked up a poster for it. Yeah, I was way off.
So, those are very, very normal films, and probably any other day that'd be correct. However, this film's about a monkey.
Of course it is.
The Barefoot Executive is about Kurt Russell's like he works in the post. He works in the post office of a TV executive building, of a TV network building, and one day he brings a monkey in, and the monkey points at one of the programs that they want to put on, and then everyone laughs at this monkey and goes, "Ha! He doesn't know anything. He's a monkey."
But he picks
And
the
then-
highest rated thing.
Yep. So,
Oh my
yeah, but no, but so Kurt Russell. I've seen this film. I love this film. Kurt Russell's character sneaks in the night and changes the reels to put this TV movie on, and it gets the highest ratings of anything. And then everyone starts praising this monkey for his amazing television picking skills.
That actually sounds amazing.
It's
Oh,
really good.
I'll have to check that out.
It's from 1971. It's really it's so funny, and for being tongue in cheek on the TV industry, it's still really relevant. Kara, the Barefoot Executive, just a really good time. Stupid as all
Nice.
hell, but what do you get
Nice.
for a 1971 Kurt Russell movie?
All right. I got one for you guys, but this one is gonna be rough because there's literally nobody you know in this movie.
Okay.
I'll even give you the first 5 people because I'm pretty certain you won't know anybody.
Well, hot
You
damn.
might know the first person. So this movie is called The 13th Year. The actors, I'm just gonna go ahead and tell you. The director is Dwayne Dunham. As Shez Starbuck. Justin John Ross. Was it Courtney Draper? I think I have heard of her. Brent Briscoe. Tim Redwine. Yeah, there is nobody in this movie.
All right. What's the name again?
The
film?
13th Year.
13th Year. I think because we really don't know anything, can we have the decade of release? Not the actual year, just the decade.
I'll even tell you the whole year. 1999.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
I've got legitimately, like, I have nothing to go off of here. I've got
Okay.
nothing.
Okay.
This is my
1999.
ringer, by the way. This is my ringer.
I'm gonna go for science fiction, and it's a really ambitious movie that didn't have enough time. So it's one of those that like it's got a really great first and second act, and then everything wraps up in about 10 minutes. In a world where people can only live for 12 years. And they get born at different stages of life. So you can get born as an 11-year-old, but then you can only live for 12 years. One person lives to the 13th year and then realizes that you can actually live longer. It's just that the food that you're being fed by the government keeps you alive only for a certain amount of time and kills you once you reach 12. And then it's a race against time to try and stop this mass genocide on a systemic level.
All right, Sam.
Every 13 years, one person is chosen to be the next guardian that will hold back the forces of darkness. I mean, I'm sorry, I got nothing, dude. I've got legitimately nothing.
You guys are way off.
Oh,
Like,
what a surprise!
Could not be further away from this movie. I'm trying to find like a good paragraph synopsis for it, but there honestly isn't one. Short version of it is, and I'll say it's a Disney Channel movie. I'll put that out there first. I'm just gonna read just a little bit of it. It's about a boy named Cody Griffin. He is a adopted teenager, and he is on the swim team. He's good at biology. He's got all this other kind of stuff going on for him. At his 13th birthday, he feels strange. He zaps his alarm clock. He drinks large amounts of water. And when he swims, he has little webbed hands, and he basically finds out he's a merman.
What?
I told you this was my rigor.
Yeah, you got us. You got me.
I remember
dude.
seeing this on Disney Channel. Like, what is this?
My
What
lord.
does that have to
It's
do with
actually-
anything?
The worst part is it's largely considered one of the best Disney Channel movies. So, like, I think with the exception of like the movies that are based off of their TV shows, or I think High School Musical. The rest of them, it's probably the best one they got.
I saw the poster for this when I was looking through them all,
Yeah.
and I thought, well, that looks boring, and then I just went away.
No, it's like, okay, if you watch actually it's actually predates Spider-Man now that I think about it. If you watch like the first part, like the first third of Spider-Man, like when he gets his powers and it's just all that really awkward stuff, it's basically that the movie.
Oh wow!
He's learning about his powers and that kind of thing, and he learns he's a merman or whatever, and that's it. Like, I honestly can't tell you more about the plot without reading a full synopsis. I remember very minimal parts of it. So, all right, next.
So this one is not as obscure as those. I'll say that. However, it was a complete bomb. Like, nobody went and saw this thing. So I feel like there's a good chance at least one of the two of you didn't see it. But we'll find out. The movie is called The Black Hole.
Yeah, I haven't seen
Okay,
that.
I saw this in the list. I even clicked on its page, and I can't tell you anything about it.
Oh, beautiful, beautiful. Okay, so you just know the name. Perfect. All right, it was directed by Gary Nelson, if that helps you out.
No.
Probably does. Okay.
It
It's okay, and the only actor whose name you'd recognize is Anthony Perkins.
Nope,
You don't recognize Anthony Perkins?
I do not.
Psycho? Norman Bates?
Oh yeah. Oh
Is
yeah.
that him? Oh man.
Oh my god, you're right.
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah. You definitely recognize him from that one. He did a lot of stage stuff too, but that's the film you'd recognize him from. So take your best shot.
What's the name again?
The Black Hole.
Black Hole. This is from 1970, correct?
1979 to be precise.
All right.
I'm gonna guess it's a sci-fi film, and it's about a down on his luck social outcast kind of scientist who gets picked on by the other scientists, but he's actually secretly smarter than all the scientists, who discovers a black hole that like no one else cares about it, like whatever. So he's like, I'm gonna launch an expedition and shoot something out there, but no one's gonna trust me, so I'm just gonna go out there in the thing and go into the black hole. Goes into the black hole, ends up in a fantasy world, like a John Carter medieval kind of vibe. And he fights and determines who he actually is, and comes out a stronger man for it, comes back from the black hole, and is a man's man, I guess.
Well, you got the fact that there was a black hole correct.
Okay, I know
I'll
that
take
this is set. I know that this film is set in space. I know that for a fact. So I'm just gonna lead with that. They're on a ship, and a few decades ago, another mining ship disappeared off the surface of Uranus. Sorry, Neptune. And then they have to go and find it. But when they get there, they find out that the whole ship is sort of cursed, and there's ghosts, and it's sort of taunting them. And then one of the members of the original ship starts killing them one by one until they realize that the ship is actually a gateway to hell, and that's the black hole. Sorry, that's the plot. That's the plot to Event Horizon.
Yeah. I mean, you're closer than Ivan, but that's not saying much.
Well, that's because I just did the plot to Event Horizon.
Exactly. Right. So the actual plot summary, I actually saw this movie as a kid when I was like 6 years old. So that's weird, me seeing a film that the two of you haven't. I've got to be honest, that feels really weird. I don't think that's happened yet. Has that happened yet? I don't think it's happened. But that's pretty cool. Basically, it's about a spacecraft coming back from a deep space mission. If I remember correctly, like the nutshell version of what happens is the ship was monitoring a big black hole that was slowly consuming part of the galaxy, and like the guy in charge went nuts and he made his entire crew into robot zombies, and he starts killing off the people who came to check it out, and they have to fight back. That's about what I remember. Oh, and the like there's this weird heaven and hell segment where like there's a vision of hell but also a vision of heaven as they get close to the black hole. It's really weird. It's really disturbing too. Which, probably helped it bomb back in the day. But there you go.
Wow, Disney.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
It is really weird. Like, if you had said this was a Disney film in 1979, I wouldn't have believed it. I didn't remember that it was a Disney film, even though I saw it.
I'm going to do our Spooktober picks, because you reminded me to do that later.
Yes.
All right. I got my last one, by the way, for you guys.
All right.
Now, this one's a lot easier.
Did I do my last one?
Oh, what?
How many did I do? Did I do 3 or 2?
You did 2. I'm on my 3rd.
Oh, okay, go.
Yeah. So my 3rd is called Operation Dumbo Drop.
What?
I was gonna do this.
It has Danny Glover, Ray Liotta, and Dennis Leary. It actually has people in it.
Okay, Sam, you go, because I know
Yeah.
the basic plot.
Yeah, no, Sam, you're alone on this one. You gotta do this.
A scientist has figured out how to clone the elephant Dumbo and plans to take over the world using his army of flying elephants.
No.
Dumbo Drop.
Alright, here's what it says. During the Vietnam War, a village that American forces are using to spy on the Ho Chi Minh Trail has its sacred elephant killed by the North Vietnamese army because they are cooperating with the Americans. The villagers need an elephant for a ceremony that will occur within the week. Captain Sam Cale, a easygoing man who is headed home, and his hot-headed replacement, Captain T.C. Doyle, scrounge up another elephant with the help of a sneaky supply chief warrant officer, David Poole, a luckless farm boy, Lawrence Fairley, and a short-timer, Harvey Ashford, and transported across South Vietnam to get to the village on time, running into all sorts of transport problems, personality conflicts, and an MVA squad that wants the Americans out of the village.
Wow.
There you go.
Disney was on some stuff back in the day.
Hey,
but
they had that license.
they were doing everything.
Alright, that's my last one.
Nice.
Okay. Alright, are you guys ready for the computer wore tennis shoes?
No, I really wasn't.
Is this Kurt Russell
me,
as
really
well?
wasn't.
It is Kurt Russell, but also, I'll take your Kurt Russell and I'll raise you a Cesar Romero.
Oh my
What?
god.
Hell yeah. So, the computer wore tennis shoes, Kurt Russell, Cesar Romero, I'll give you the year, 1969.
I actually don't know anything about this movie, so I'm going to go first and guess. Kurt Russell is a cyborg. Well, maybe not a cyborg, maybe a full-on android. Like someone's teenage kid died. Like Cesar Romero's teenage kid died, and he's like, "Oh, I can't live without him," and he builds him as a robot, and the robot thinks he's a person. That's all I got.
All right, Sam, what do you think?
A down on his luck inventor has promised a supercomputer to the company that he works for, but it doesn't work no matter what he does, and so in desperation, he actually has a stroke of luck and finds a teen genius boy who has a ridiculously advanced brain, and he disguises him as the computer and uses it to advance his job.
Sam, you are shockingly close.
Damn.
What?
So Kurt Russell, it goes to a school where he can't, and the school can't afford to buy a computer. And the students persuade a wealthy businessman, played by Cesar Romero, to donate an old computer to the college. During a thunderstorm, Kurt Russell's character is on the computer and gets turned into a human genius. So he he knows math at a superhuman ability. He can read an encyclopedia in a minute and can speak every modern language. And they use this to enter a TV quiz tournament.
Not bad.
But then, Arno, played by Cesar Romero, finds out what happened, and they kidnap him and deprogram him, and then and then throw him back into the quiz.
Amazing.
They remade it in the 90s with more knowledge about computers, but it's still silly.
They remade it in the 90s? Either they call
They
it the
remade
same
it
thing?
in the 90s. They remade it. They made it in the 90s. Then it was a Disney Channel original movie.
1995. Let's see.
Yep.
I gotta see.
Directed by Peyton Reed, who directed Ant-Man.
Huh. Wild. Okay. So also Spooktober picks. We're gonna skip the Gears 5 news just because of time. So our Spooktober picks, we forgot to do that earlier.
Event Horizon.
That's your pick.
That's why I was talking about it earlier.
All right.
Good pick.
Event Horizon is really good. It's a sort of Lovecraft ghost film, but in space.
Mm-hmm.
It's in space, y'all. This is directed by Paul W.S. Anderson, most known for ruining every movie ever. He's the director of most of the films in the Resident Evil franchise. He also directed Mortal Kombat. So he gave us God bless
that man for that.
I could do that the whole day. I could do the whole song if you wanted me to. I'm not going to, because we'll get demonetized. Not that we make any money. Event Horizon is surprisingly spooky, with an awesome cast of Jason Isaacs, yes, that one from Harry Potter, Sam Neill, Lawrence Fishburne, Sean Pertwee from Gotham. It's a really fun, spooky ghost film in space. The crazy thing about it is they made it super, super gory, like proper R-rated. And then they gave it to test audiences, and the audiences were like, oh, this is too much. So they cut it down and released it, but the original uncensored version they stored in a salt mine near the Paramount studio. However, they stored all the copies incorrectly, and this version rotted. So the original uncensored super gory version of this film has been lost to time.
Which sucks, because people who saw it have claimed that it is, even by today's standards, insanely disturbing.
There are moments in the film where it's it really, really surprised you, and how much they just go on a really...
They go there. They go there. If there's any super nerds who are listening to this, here's an example of the kinds of stuff that was probably cut and why you should watch it. This film is accepted by the fan community as a prequel to Warhammer 40k and the effect of the warp. And if you know what that means, congrats, nerd. Now get to watching.
Oh, I forgot to say, they create a gateway to hell in space.
Yeah, exactly.
And it powers a ship that is they designed it in the ship. It's supposed to be a flattened version of the Notre Dame Cathedral. So imagine a Gothic cathedral that's flying. I love Event Horizon. It's just me.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's a great film. Great film.
My pick. So I was kind of banking on Green Room being more of a horror movie. It really wasn't.
I love Green Room.
It's a good movie, but it's not. It's not a horror movie. See, I was sold on the fact of Patrick Stewart playing a neo-Nazi. I was like, I gotta see that. But I was like, the way the trailers especially kind of pulled it, they made it feel like it was supposed to be more of a horror movie. It's really not. I guess it's more of like a suspense thriller. But because you see way too much of Patrick Stewart, and honestly, Patrick Stewart doesn't do all that much that's really disturbing. So it's like, well, other than just being a neo-Nazi, but it's not a horror movie. So I was a little disappointed by that. So I was like, you know what? I'm gonna watch Carrie for the first time. Also disappointed. So I didn't watch. So I was like, well, I can't recommend that right now.
What, the
However,
original Carrie?
yeah, the original Carrie. I wasn't
The original
feeling it.
Carrie's great.
I wasn't feeling it, man.
All right.
But anyway, so however, on Sunday morning, I was like, wait a minute. I wonder about this movie because okay, so I gotta give you guys a little bit of backstory about why I picked this movie. So when I was a kid, we used to do a lot of sleepovers. So one night I had a sleepover across the street. I must have been like, I don't know, 8 years old, maybe a little younger. I had a sleepover across the street, and it was like a Saturday. No, it was a Friday night. I slept over across the street, and I remember waking up like kind of early, like at 5, 6 o'clock in the morning, and I was bored. And I was like, I can't go back to sleep, and like everyone else was asleep, so I couldn't really do anything. So my dumb 8-year-old self got up and just left. I just left and went back home. So they were terrified looking for me. And so lo and behold, I come back, and apparently my brother and my mom had actually went to the movie rental place on Friday night and gotten this movie. And so about 6:30 in the morning, I watched Scooby-Doo on Zombie Island.
Oh, all right.
So I have not seen that movie since then, but I remember the trailers like making a very big point that the monsters were real.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't really believe it back then because I was like, "Oh, Scooby-Doo, the monsters are fake always."
Yeah.
But this was the first time that the monsters were real for once, and it not being played as comedic. Like,
Yeah.
they weren't playing it for for comedy's sake. The plot, it takes so the gang splits up. Daphne gets her own show, and I will say first of all, the art style is very dark. Like they added shading effects and shadows to this, which is like I think it was the first time they did this for that series. So it looked really dark, and the production value was higher than usual. But it's got this really creepy Hanna-Barbera vibe that's still kind of to it. Like you see a little bit of in Johnny Quest. It's kind of weird. But if you watch it, you'll see what I'm talking about. It's on YouTube. You can watch it. So
Yeah.
I'm not gonna give too much about it because
Mm-hmm.
it is true there are real monsters in this one, and they do not play it as a joke. Like they kind of hint at it a little bit, like monsters are always fake, until they aren't.
Mm-hmm. Right.
And I remember watching this, and it's so. Anyways, what happens in the plot is that they go to. So Daphne gets the gang back together for her show, and they want to find real monsters. So they basically do a bunch of like a montage, and they keep finding out all these fake monsters, and like, we want something real, until they go to a place that really is haunted, and stuff goes down. But definitely go and watch this. For a kid, this is actually very creepy.
I
For
remember
kids.
watching this as a kid as well, and I remember it being it really had an effect on me. There are certain moments that I still remember of like reveals of certain characters, whether they are or are not monsters.
Yep.
I remember it being done really well. I haven't watched it since I was about 9 or 10, maybe even younger than that. But I do remember I remember it well.
Yeah, if you have not seen
really
it,
good.
go watch it. Like it'll be interesting for you. I especially if you have not seen it at all, watch it. But if you have seen it, go rewatch it. Like it'll be interesting.
It's one of the high points of Scooby-Doo. Honestly,
It
like
is
the
largely considered the best one
The only real complaint I can come up with is like, yeah, if your kids were just starting out on this is mood whiplash because this is the one time they treat it serious. But like the animation, I'm glad you brought that up. I mean, the animation I remember as a kid thinking it was like head and shoulders above everything else in Scooby-Doo. It's still one of the best animated, in my opinion, with that dark style and the way the zombies are. And then there's some other stuff in case you somehow haven't seen it that I don't want to say. But I will say this, it actually had a sequel announced this year.
Oh.
Yeah,
really?
It's called Return to Zombie Island. It hasn't come out yet.
Oh.
But it is going to, I think.
Be running out of ideas.
Yeah, I'm guessing. But still.
Hey. Interesting.
What's your pick?
So, all right, Sam, what's your pick?
So, I'll be totally honest with you. I forgot that we were doing one every week, and I don't have a pick.
What?
Yeah, I'm sorry.
Disappointed.
Yeah, I know.
You had all this time while we were talking to go and look up one.
I know, but then, see, well, here's the problem. I did Event Horizon last year, and I didn't want to do something that I did last year, so, you know.
But yeah. Oh yeah, you didn't get your one here the one I picked last week, James. Creeped Out.
Oh, what'd you pick?
The series on Netflix.
Which one?
Creeped Out.
I don't know this.
It is new. So you know how they did like Goosebumps when we were kids, like Goosebumps or Afraid of the Dark, that kind of stuff. So Netflix said we want to make our own horror anthology series geared towards children, and it's actually really creepy. Namely because it's creepy because it makes you feel old. Like you're watching like 13-year-old kids be afraid of like, oh no, the Snapchat filter I got is haunted. It steals my face.
Oh.
But they play it totally serious. And it's like, ugh. But it's weird. It keeps that vibe though. And they actually, I want to say it's like 50-50 in terms of how it's split. Like about 50% of the episodes are set in the UK, and about 50% of them are set between Canada and just North America. And so it's a pretty interesting split, honestly. And like it's kind of like they keep that cheesy factor to it, but it's pretty good production value, honestly. I think you'd enjoy it.
Okay, Creeped Out. I'll have a look.
Yeah.
Just leading on from your Scooby-Doo stuff, there was like a run of 4, when they did like proper actual like films, like direct to video films of the Scooby-Doo stuff. Most of them are pretty good. I want to shout out Scooby-Doo and the Witch's Ghost. It's not as good as Zombie Island, but it does have Tim Curry in it.
Yes.
And that's just always fun.
It also has a really hot goth band, if I remember correctly.
It does have a hot goth band.
I remember young me was very confused, but wanted to see that again.
And the band are in like a few different stuff. The heck.
Yeah, isn't there a movie where the gang goes to like Australia and there's like an outback vampire?
Yeah,
I think they were in that one as well.
Like
I can't remember
the
the
vampire
name.
one.
Yeah,
I feel like I should know this, but I don't.
I remember that one. I remember the alien one.
Yeah, the alien invaders.
Yeah.
They're an eco-goth rock band.
Heck yeah.
Consisting of members Thorn, Dusk, and Luna.
And there, kids, you get an insight into what shaped our childhood.
Alright, so we gotta wrap things up here, guys. We're running out of time. So let's do our outros. James, where can the good people find you, sir?
The good people and the bad people, mostly the bad people, can come and find me on the tweets at James_S Wilson. I'm also on Instagram, James with 2 S's and Wilson with 2 L's. Come talk to me about Radioheads, all the different fun movie things that are happening, and wrestling, because I'm going to be even more involved in wrestling this week than I am normally.
All right, and Sam.
Yeah, you can find me on Twitter at Samuel Tolbert. That's Tolbert. Yeah, come talk with me about movies, video games, TV shows, tech, whatever. Happy to be here.
Yep. Oh, Mandy brings up something. They did a Scooby Doo Supernatural crossover.
What?
Yeah.
Oh, they did do
Uh,
that.
they did a bunch of WWE crossovers as well, but that's a
Yeah,
different
I
story.
saw that one.
Yeah. So they did a
Scooby Natural. Thank you, Mandy, for bringing that. I'm going to have to look that up. I never saw that.
Yeah, it's interesting. So anyway, and I'm Anchor MV2. You can find me on whatever. Everybody go check out the links in the description below if you want to go support each of us individually. I got links to everybody's profiles and all that junk. So, all right, and we are out of here. Thank you guys for tuning in to the Multiverse Show, episode 140, the greatest show on Mondays. We're out of here.